Welcome to the Feed the Soul Company podcast, a space I've created to share my story and to encourage you to share yours. I'm your host, Liv Sedla, and I can't thank you enough for being here. With me today is our special guest, Paloma Villicana. Paloma is an award-winning TV host, speaker, and reporter for Fox. She reports for the WNBA and covers the Vegas Aces. She is the host of the Red Zone on Fox 5 Vegas, and she covers UNLV sports stories and mostly covers basketball, women's basketball, football, and also touches on athlete stories outside of their sport as well. I know her. I've been so grateful to meet her. We've been chatting before we recorded this, but I just met her personally. But how I knew her before, I would be at the UNLV basketball games. I'd see her reporting, and I'm following her stories. And honestly, I just look up to her. Not only is she at these big sporting events and interviewing the pros and celebrating championships, but her ability to connect with so many different athletes and share stories, and sitting here talking with her, I feel like I'm the only person in the world right now, so I just appreciate her so much, and I will give her a chance to introduce herself, but Paloma, thank you so much for being here.
Of course. I mean, first of all, UNLV is just literally the best school in the best city in the world, and the opportunity that you have in this city, being a student athlete, starting your own podcast, it's just, I'm so proud of you. And it's just, obviously, I mean, the spotlight is on women's sports too. Mm-hmm. So getting ready for the volleyball season under Coach Malia, I mean, there's just a lot to be excited for here in Las Vegas. And if you haven't made a trip out to Las Vegas, you obviously need to, because there is so much happening in this city. We're coming off the Super Bowl, the NHL draft at the Sphere. There's just so much happening in this town, and there's a championship parade every 6 months. So there's a lot to celebrate here.
So much. And I think something about Paloma that she does with her reporting, just how she is in the community, is building this community. Like, she talks about Vegas and the sports world, but it's always like there's so much to do, so much to go, and honestly, you talking about it makes me kind of feel like I'm a part of this family that she is so proud of and she's telling us about. So Paloma, tell us a little bit about you, how you came to Vegas, and a little bit about your personal side.
Yeah, so I'm from San Diego, and there's a lot of great sports in San Diego. I grew up watching the Chargers and the Padres. My dad played football. He coached football. So we were a big football family. My sister went to USC in the time that Reggie Bush was there. So I went to some amazing football games at the Coliseum in LA. So kind of growing up, it's like I saw Erin Andrews and I saw women on Sundays reporting at football games, and I said, that's what I want to be. So I was kind of a little crazy. Like, in high school, I was just so goal oriented, where I was like, I want to be a sports reporter, and that's what I want to do. So my senior year of high school in San Diego, I interned at a local news station, KUSI in San Diego. And when I was 17 or 18, I'm interviewing the Chargers and I'm interviewing the Padres and different colleges out there, SDSU and USD. And I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, which has just been so awesome. I think I was just very passionate from a young age, loved football, loved sports, and knew that it was my passion. Do I wish I could have gotten a scholarship and played at the college level? Of course. But like you mentioned, my passion really is storytelling and telling the stories of different collegiate athletes, professional athletes, high school, even the young kids growing up, seeing their passion turn into their goals is so exciting. So I went to TCU. I majored in sports broadcasting. I think I was telling you before this podcast.
Yeah.
That I literally specifically so detailed majored in sports broadcasting. So I was sideline reporting all 4 years at TCU. And like we talked about before the podcast, it's so important to get started now. Just get started now on your dreams, on what you want to do, whether you're a freshman in high school, a freshman in college, whether you're 30 years old, it's not too late to just start working on what you're passionate about and making that time and that sacrifice for what you're passionate about. So TCU, we had a really great football team, great basketball team, baseball team. The athletics were really, really strong at TCU. So that opened a lot of doors for me in Dallas. I worked with the Cowboys, the Mavericks, the Stars, the Rangers, all the professional teams in Dallas. And, you know, I really did want to stay in Dallas and work for the Cowboys for the rest of my life. And I knew I kind of had to take a bigger leap. And sometimes, you know, you're just called to take big leaps in life, move across country, go do something different. And my first job out of college was in West Virginia, working in the Big 12. I was working with WVU and Virginia Tech. So completely left my perfect little life in Dallas and wanted to just spread my wings and really become a full-time sports anchor, sports reporter on camera every single day, because the best way to get better at your craft is doing it every day and getting those reps in. So being on camera, I knew I had to do it every day to get better. So I moved out to West Virginia, and my family in San Diego is like, "What are you doing? You're working where?" And I'm like, "Yeah, in the middle of nowhere." But West Virginia was beautiful, great opportunity. College game day was out there all the time at their football games. So it was just great networking and opportunity. So don't be afraid to take that job on the other side of the country, because you never know where it can lead you to. And then after West Virginia, I moved to Alabama, and welcome to the SEC. I was working with Alabama football, Auburn football, the entire SEC, but not just football. I mean, every sport in the SEC. And that was huge. I mean, that was like, wow. I mean, I'm in stadiums with 100,000 fans, and the SEC, those fans are crazy, and Nick Saban, and just, you know, all the spotlight down there. The SEC was a lot of fun to work in. And for me, it was all about building relationships too. I mean, if I ever went and talked to Nick Saban again, we'd have a really good conversation.
Oh, I love that.
When I moved to Vegas, I already had a great relationship with the Raiders players that had played at Alabama, because I covered them at Alabama. So no matter where I went in life, like, I still have relationships with TCU football players and West Virginia football players and Alabama and Auburn. So wherever you go, you're going to meet someone down the road where it's like you have those relationships. And Vegas has been crazy. So I moved here right before the pandemic in 2020. So talk about a challenging start to a new job.
Absolutely.
I got sent home. Fox 5 sent me home with a camera and lights and everything I needed. And they were like, "Okay, well, we're going to have you broadcast from home. We don't know how long, but we'll try this out."
Yeah.
I broadcasted from home for 2 years.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
So I didn't know anyone in this town. I really hadn't met anyone in person. Allegiant Stadium opened up, and there was absolutely no fans in there.
What?
So I did the Reb Zone on Zoom. Everything was on Zoom. So the first 2 years in Las Vegas were just so challenging. I mean, we weren't sure if there were going to be games played. Games were canceled the night before.
Oh my gosh.
I was just like, this is madness. But this is just some good things to have under your belt of dealing with that adversity. I felt like I was like, okay, if I can deal with games being canceled last minute and shows on Zoom, then I can do anything.
You can do anything.
So I'd say from about 2022 to 2024, it has just been full speed here in Vegas. The Aces are back-to-back champions. The Raiders have a new head coach and a new stadium. UNLV football with their new head coach. UNLV volleyball with a new head coach as well. The Lady Rebels are, you know, just so dominant as well. The Runnin' Rebels are doing big things too. So the stories are endless here in Las Vegas. I mean, I am not joking, I wake up to probably 100 emails a day of sports opportunities. Like, we want you to come to this. Can you cover this? Can you host this? We'd love you for this. Do you think you can come out to this? This weekend we're doing this. At the Wynn, at the Bellagio, at Caesars, at blah, blah. It goes on. So, you know, it's so funny. I'm just just so thankful, so blessed. I mean, it's been an amazing career. But it did start with like, wow, okay, how am I going to tackle this pandemic, getting to know these players, getting to know these athletes and these coaches through Zoom. So obviously we all dealt with the pandemic and it was really tough, but it definitely sharpened my skills to be like, okay, this is really hard,
Yeah.
but we all got through it, and I think we all got through it better and stronger. And now we are in 2024 and we are getting ready for football season, and the Aces are on their way to the Olympics right now. And I mean, what an amazing opportunity it is in Vegas as a student athlete, as a sports reporter, as someone that lives here in Vegas, to just be a part of this history.
Be a part of this awesome family we've got going. Thank you so much for sharing your story. There's so many pieces I want to touch on that. So first you talk about coming from or making that move. I know for me, in my experience, it's been that move from Michigan to Las Vegas, coming, okay, I'm going to do this big move. I want to get out into the world, to chase what I want to do. For you, that was going from Dallas to West Virginia. And talk about West Virginia, then going to the SEC, like these big conferences, big time. I just want to say big time tradition. So I grew up around U of M athletics. Like my mom graduated from there, so I went to all their football games, all their basketball games, volleyball games, and the tradition is so run deep. Like that's been there forever. So that's kind of where you've come from, and then now you're starting, hopefully, tradition here in Vegas. Can you talk a little bit about that transition? Different scenery now
Sure.
to this city we're in now?
Yeah, I mean, there's different cultures for sure across the country. There's different culture on the East Coast and the West Coast and the South and the North. Michigan, obviously, a huge, huge fan base. But it was different for me to go from a small town in Alabama where all they know is football,
Right.
and the tradition of Alabama and Auburn football. And, on the weekends, these cities shut down. I mean, there's no one's doing anything except watching the football game or the basketball game or whatever's going on that weekend. So moving to Vegas, it's been so interesting because this is a global destination. So people that live in Las Vegas are from all over the world. So that brings different fan bases from all over the world. It's not even just, people are here from the West Coast. People that live in Las Vegas are from, every country you can think of. So when it comes to soccer, when it comes to football, when it comes to basketball, gosh, they're rooting for so many different teams, which has been so eye-opening that it's UNLV is here, and there's a very strong fan base here. But these people that live in Las Vegas also want to watch soccer and different sports that, really Americans are like, well, okay, we watch a little bit about soccer, but Copa America, the quarterfinals was just at Allegiant Stadium. Obviously, we saw what happened in Miami. So it's fun to know that Vegas also hosts rugby and soccer and different events that bring in a global audience. So what I felt at UNLV is there is such a strong passion for sports. People want it, they want to watch it, they want to go to it. Allegiant Stadium opening up has been huge for this city. To attract fans from all over the world. So for me as a sports reporter, it's been like, gosh, I really have to pay attention to everything.
Wow.
Because I'm no longer in a small town in Alabama where it's like, all right, college football and collegiate sports are the number one topic. It's like here in Vegas, I have to pay attention to F1 and everything that's going on and get to know all the drivers and all the athletes. We have Summer League going on. Obviously, those are athletes from all over the world right here on the campus at UNLV. So, gosh, Vegas just keeps me on my toes.
Yeah,
I'm like,
so
I don't know what
much.
to expect tomorrow. Maybe Tom Brady or LeBron James is going to start their own league out here, their own team, or, what building is going to go up where a team is going to move in there. The A's are obviously planning to move here. So, every morning I wake up and I check my phone and I'm like, all right, what's gonna happen today? Hopefully it's not the craziest day, but it's been so much fun.
I love that perspective on that because as a college student athlete, I would say volleyball gets a pretty good fan base. We sell out Cox Pavilion a couple times. We don't play in the Thompson Mac, but we love our gym in the Cox Pavilion. But as far as basketball, going to those games, Thomas and Mac can get pretty full. But as a college student athlete, sometimes I know my teammates and I, we talk and we're like, Oh, it's so tough because we don't feel the same love, but that like a college town would get because everything shuts down for that college town.
Yeah.
But then I love hearing you talk about, well, like, look, we're in Vegas. Look at everything that's coming here. And I guess for me and my teammates are just a reminder for the college students specifically at UNLV. It's like, wait, there is a lot going on here, and there is a lot of love for sport. There is a lot of support. It's just spread out differently. And I think that's, I don't know, just a cool reminder, because I know for us, we felt like, okay, well, all the pros get it. But it's like, wait, no, Vegas still has a huge community and love for sport. It just looks different. So just kind of reminding myself of that too.
And there's so much opportunity that your team, you guys can be involved in. I know during the Super Bowl, like I saw the Lady Rebels volunteering at different things. I know I saw like football, like they get involved in different community events. So the more active you can be, the more in the community that you guys can be, the more that people can see your face, get to know you, get to know your story, like you're doing with your podcast. So you're doing all the things right, but it is about that exposure.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the WNBA, what's happening this season. All the eyes are on the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark and all the rookies.
Yes.
And now, I mean, these women are going to get paid more just because more people are watching them.
Yep.
So it's all about the exposure, in my opinion. I mean, you guys are so talented and you're so, just incredibly hardworking women. It's like the more eyeballs we can get on women's sports, I feel that responsibility too. It's like, gosh, these women are working so hard and winning championships. It's like they should get paid what they deserve. But it's all about getting the eyes on the sports and taking advantage of being in the sports capital of the world.
Yeah, let's like take advantage of it, piggyback of it. Don't kind of like, oh, well, that's going on for them, not us. No, we're all in this together, kind of. There's so many pieces I want to touch on, but I think I'll move to, you talk about just kind of waking up in the morning and seeing, okay, I've got a full plate today, every day.
Every day.
Talk about some of the challenges. I know you touched a little bit on moving here, going through COVID, that change.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit, maybe some more challenges that you've experienced and how you overcame them.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a hard start here in Vegas. Obviously during COVID, and my show with the Reb Zone, the football team was going through their bumps, and I think they were 0-6 and 2-10 and 5-7. So it was it coming from Alabama too, where they win national championships and they go undefeated, which is just so hard to do. I mean, I think in Las Vegas, as we become a title town, obviously but the public is like, gosh, do you know how hard it is to go undefeated and win a title? Like, that is crazy. That means like you need luck on your side. You need everything to go perfectly. You need the weather to be just right. I mean, it's like, it just has to align in the stars, basically. So coming from that championship culture in Alabama and then coming to Vegas and dealing with the adversity that I had to with UNLV football and just everything in the city. The Raiders were playing with no fans in the stadium. Obviously, we were kind of just piecing together a season. That was extremely hard. And to be a sports reporter and put a smile on my face when I really didn't want to put a smile on my face, and not knowing who UNLV is going to play next week. And, the WNBA, they were in a bubble. The NHL, they were in a bubble. There was just so much uncertainty.
Yeah.
And for me to report the news on so much uncertainty, I was like, this is hard.
Yeah.
This is really hard. Sure, we can talk about this game and this opponent and these people, but I'm not even sure if this is going to take place tomorrow. So that was pretty tough. But I would just say the biggest thing I think that has helped me is my attitude. And obviously, we talked a little bit before the podcast, but my mom is a big part of my life. She's like my number one supporter. She pushes me really hard. She makes me go the extra mile, I would say. Like, she's really, really great. I love her so much. She's really helped me because during COVID and during, our career, dealing with the pandemic, I was totally like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. All this preparation, all this hard work for what? I mean, I don't even know if we're going to play this game. I don't even know if this show is going to happen. So it was a lot of frustration during those years of like, I'm putting in all this hard work for what? I'm not even sure if, we're going to have a season or, so it's just a little bit of like, I felt a little selfish too. Like, why am I doing this if, the outcome is not going to be there? My mom like just keeps me super humble and tells me to just do even a better job. Like, over when the Red Zone's done, we'll watch it together and she critiques me and or she really likes the interviews, and it's so funny because of my mom. She's amazing, but she didn't play sports. Obviously she's married to, a football player and a football coach. She's hard. She is hard on me. Shout out to all the moms out there that really keep us going. But even now in 2024 in Las Vegas, like I mentioned, there's so many events coming here, and she's really hard on me, being like, you need to go to this because it's a good marketing event, it's a good finance event, good networking event. And I'm like, Mom, I'm so tired. I don't want to go to this. I really don't want to talk to people. And she's like, no, you're going. I already picked out your outfit. You need to get your hair done, And then I go to these events and I'm interviewing Erin Andrews. And I'm like, okay, you're right, Mom. I need to go to this event. So she, I wish I could just write a book about her. I mean, she has really pushed me to do things. And I'm like, okay, I would never go to this a culinary event in Las Vegas. But now I just have like 100 more connections I've made going to this like culinary event. I'm a sports reporter. I don't know anything about food. But now if you asked me like some details about this chef, it's like I would know all about him. So she's really helped me grow my wings and push myself outside of just sports reporting.
That is super cool. I just want to relate a little bit because you talked about how your mom pushes you to go do things. And it's like, no, I don't want to, Mom. But that's how my mom was growing up. Like, I didn't want to go play volleyball or basketball. And literally my sister was going to tryouts and my mom literally said, Livy, get up and go. You're going. Like, come on. And I was like, no. And then I tried out, made my 12-4s team when I was like 9 or 10, and then I haven't stopped playing since, and I fell in love with it. But like my mom does that for me all the time. Like, she knows, like, okay, Liv, you're gonna have fun, just go. And I think it's cute that your mom does the same thing for you.
They push us push us hard, which is obviously what you want and you need, and moms know because they've been through life. I'm always like, there's some things my mom says, and I'm like, oh, she's so right, she was so right. Yes. So it's good to have a good mom in your corner.
Oh, okay. Next thing I want to touch on, you talk about this passion for women's sports. And you're telling stories on it, interviewing a lot of women's teams. Tell us more about, like, maybe it's your mom, or what is this like? Where does this passion come from? Tell us more about your love for women in sports.
It comes from right here in Las Vegas. We have the best female athletes in the world here in Vegas. And if you've never been to an Aces game, or if you've never been to a UNLV volleyball or Lady Rebels game, you are missing out. There's just some amazing, incredible women in this city. Coaches, leaders, presidents, managers, general managers. I mean, it is like there's no limit for women at all. I mean, if you want to be a CEO and a president and a head coach, you can be. And that's what I see here in Vegas. And I hope this is the same around the rest of the country. But wow, I mean, to see the Aces and their hard work and just the leadership in that building. Becky Hammond, the head coach, the Hall of Famer. I mean, her leadership, her energy is just, I can't compare it to anything else. And Asia Wilson, obviously, she's one of the best players ever to ever play basketball. And not even basketball. I mean, she's incredible. So I'm around these women every day. I get to work with these women every day. Over at UNLV, you have the volleyball team, you have the Lady Rebels, track and field. There's just, I mean, there's not enough time in the day to talk about how amazing the women are here in Las Vegas. I mean, no offense, boys, they are winning. Winning. These women are winning.
I love Paloma.
Yeah. So maybe look at what the Aces are doing. Go look at their culture. Go look at their work ethic. Go look at A'ja Wilson. Watch A'ja Wilson. Watch her in a timeout. Watch her on the bench. Watch what she's doing, her body language, her leadership, what she's doing off the court with her marketing, her book tour, her commercials, what kind of deals she's getting into, what kind of person she is, how to treat the media, how just everything. I would like, if you want to be a successful athlete, go watch A'ja Wilson. Go watch her at a game. Follow her on social media. She's doing everything right. She has great parents. She has a great family that really help her out. Becky Hammon is incredibly inspirational too. She's a dog. I mean, she's gonna really push you. So yeah, I mean, I think when I first moved to Las Vegas in 2020, the WNBA played in a bubble at the IMG Academy in Florida. So it was actually kind of hard to get to know the Aces. I knew the team, but I really didn't get to know them on a personal level. And then when they hired Becky Hammon, I was like, man, I think I was at a Lady Rebels game and I saw the news on my phone and I like stood up in the middle of the game and was like, oh my God, the Aces just hired Becky Hammon, who was the first assistant coach in the NBA. She's a trailblazer. I was like, oh man, this city is going to change with Becky Hammon here. She goes and wins two championships in a row. The first professional team in Las Vegas to win a championship were the Aces, led by Becky Hammon. So why not feel so inspired by these women that I'm working with? Like, if Becky Hammon can go win a championship, like, so can I at work. You know, I can give it all my all every day. And like, just being around A'ja Wilson, it's just contagious. It's really contagious. And obviously, you know, we're talking about women. Obviously, there are men in this city too, and in my career too. Obviously, Barry Odom and Kevin Kruger. Like, there's just some really amazing men here. But you have to give credit where credit is due, and
it's the women.
Oh my gosh, they're taking over, and I'm so happy people are noticing and tuning in and want to tune in and want to watch. Because they should. And with the Olympics coming up, it's like, yes, you should watch all the women's sports, track and field, volleyball, basketball, gymnastics, obviously very popular. But it's like, these women are doing incredible things. And sometimes they're better than the men, just saying. They're a lot of fun to watch. But also, I think women are just like, that you want to watch them. You want to see their pregame tunnel fits. You want to see their style, their fashion, their hair. And I know that, yeah, I mean, it's just, gosh, we could talk forever about this, but it's just really fun to be a girl in Las Vegas, be around in the sports world, and really just take advantage of every opportunity we have here.
Love that answer. Oh my goodness. So there's two things that from that answer I want to kind of branch off of. You talk about sport, but you talk about these athletes being so amazing, but also outside of their sport. And also you found all these avenues outside of sport that have brought you all these connections, all of these things. So I want to ask you something about that. And then I want to ask you more about being a girl or a woman in working in a mostly predominantly male industry. So let's start with, okay. What is it like being a woman working in a predominantly male industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think I told you before the podcast started that I spent 9 months around all men.
That's crazy.
From August until March, I'm traveling with UNLV football and UNLV men's basketball. I'm obviously covering other things as well, but I'm predominantly with 150 men from August until December, which it's so fun. I love football. I'm so blessed. I get to travel the world doing what I love, but I physically am around men for like 9 months. And I was saying that when the season's over in March, I have to book it and just go see my best friends in San Diego, go get my hair done, my nails done.
Girls trip.
And honestly, when I see like the football players' girlfriends at games or something, I like run to them. I'm like a girl. But it's, you know, with that being said, it's like, I want more women with me. I want more women on the field with me. I want more women in the locker room. Like, I shouldn't have to be saying I'm the only girl. It's 2024, you know?
Literally.
And uh, man, I just want more girls around me because we can do such a good job doing this. I
Hmm.
mean, it's all about your work ethic and being a good person too. I mean, um, I have such good intention with what I start my day with. And just getting to know these players and getting to be in their space, that's such a privilege. You know, I'm on the airplane, I'm on the team bus. That's such a privilege.
Yeah.
You got to earn their trust, you know, and you got to be like, hey, like, I'm seeing injuries full on. I'm seeing the trainer full on deal with this injury. Am I going to report every single gruesome thing I see? Obviously not. I'm obviously going to do my job and have to let the coaches and the players know that I have a job to do. The other thing is also letting the players and coaches know that I have a job to do. So, you know, whether I'm on the plane or whether I'm, you know, traveling on the road with them, it's like, listen, this is how I pay my bills. This is how I feed myself. I have a job to do. So I
Hmm.
kind of have to just like lay the groundwork of like, I'm a professional sports reporter and that's it. You know, if you want to ask me out on a date, it's not going to happen. So I'm sorry, but it's just, I think like it would be so hard for me to like do my job and, you know, date someone at the same time. That's kind of in my world.
Yeah.
So, but that's hard because I'm spending like a lot of my year around athletes. So it's like around sports. So obviously athletes tend to date athletes, which makes sense because that's your world.
Hmm.
I'm kind of the opposite. I'm like, I want to date someone that's like outside of my world
Oh,
and kind of just come home and have like peace and quiet and not necessarily have to talk about the game that I spent all day on.
yeah.
So it's been like I've spent my 20s like just foot on the gas, traveling and covering sports and you know, being the only woman on the road, and that's been tough. It's been tough to just be like, do I want to date someone in this world? Do I want to date someone out of this world? You know, what are my long-term goals? Like
Hmm.
and it's hard. I would say it's hard because my whole life is dedicated around sports.
Yeah.
So where do I have the time to like go meet someone that's
Yeah.
like so yeah, I mean I know we're probably going into too much
No, it's okay. I
detail,
love this.
but it's like someone coming out of college that wants to be a sports reporter, it's like it's hard to date. Like I'm so busy working and I don't necessarily want to date someone in the sports world.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to like meet other people that I'm
Yeah.
like where am I going to meet this
Yeah.
person? Like at a library? I don't know. Like where do I need to go? But it's been challenging. It's totally been challenging for sure.
And I'm so sure that like yes, you want somebody outside the sports world so that at the end of the day you come home to that peace, but also
Yeah.
like you want them to get sports. Your
Sure.
life has been like you've grown up in sport. I was going to ask you earlier, how did you get in the sports world? But it sounded like it was pretty much from the beginning. Like you
Yeah.
were grown up in sport,
Mhm.
worked in sport. So to find someone that is in sport or like in sport enough, but obviously can still take a break from it.
Yeah.
But like you said, like, okay, it's tough to do the athletes because, you know, so of that's your job,
Yeah,
those
that's
things.
my
So,
job. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all that because, like, this is so
Yeah,
real. Like,
for sure.
and
It's
I know, I guess, I'm not going to speak for the males, but I'll speak for us women. Like, I
yeah.
think, um, I'll speak from my experience. Sometimes talking about my relationship and different things on that personal side, I feel like I'm not allowed to just because it's like, is this professional? Is this like,
Mhm.
but we're women, we're human. It's like,
Yeah.
this is real.
And in your 20s, it's like my
Yeah.
friends are getting married and like, you know, having babies as they get older and I'm like I'm on a plane. I'm on a plane. Like what am I going to do this, you
Yeah.
know? So it's even with my mom, like I know I've talked a lot about my mom, but it has really been a personal struggle in my 20s being like seeing all my friends kind of like pair up and like get married
Mm-hmm.
and have a great job somewhere and settle down and I'm like I'm on a plane to Hawaii with UNLV football. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but it'll happen and it's for me it's just been like juggling everything
Yeah.
here in Vegas with my career and having like 5 minutes to be like should I text him back like okay let's go on a date. I have like one night this month.
One night this month for this amount of time.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just so complicated.
I really love you sharing that because I think there's a lot. Well, I just went to a career in sports forum hosted by the NCAA, and there's so many young women my age that want to get into this career of sport. And we're listening to all these people in the industry talk about work-life balance. That doesn't exist. No. It's work-life inclusion. Yeah. Like you have to, it's all together. So it's like I guess our audience, speaking to people my age, people trying to get into this industry, like, because not only are you, it's not just sports world, and this is why I love how you're on this podcast. My goal with this podcast is not just to share, okay, player perspective, coach perspective, but there's so much in sport, like people who work all the way down, like equipment managers to coaches to sports reporters to all the people that go into putting on a sporting event. It's a lot. And for everybody, it's nonstop. So for me as an athlete, it's like, okay, we have a long day. I'm in the gym from this time to this time. It's all day. But think about the people that are there before you.
Yeah.
They're after you. So there's so much in sport going on. And then like Paloma's sharing with us, it's like this, as like young women, it's like, okay, I want to go into this career, but and it's, I don't know what my life's going to look like. And she's kind of in it. She's done the traveling, she's gone after it like head first, like dove into this career, and so amazing, so incredible, but still real to talk about, like, okay, my life outside of this, my personal life.
Also, it's like, it takes sacrifice.
So much.
It takes sacrifice. If you want to pursue your dreams and you look at LeBron James or you look at these successful athletes, A'ja Wilson, that's a lot of sacrifice.
So much.
I mean, A'ja Wilson lives a completely different life than the normal person. I mean, she's pursuing her basketball career. So obviously she's not a stay-at-home mom with 2 babies at home. I mean, she's traveling the world and she's busy. So it's up to you. It's really up to you. Yeah. I mean, how passionate you are, how far you want to take this. But I think what I've realized now in my career, as I'm a little bit older in my career, is like, give yourself grace too. Give yourself grace.
I love that.
Take care of yourself, girls. Oh my gosh. Take care of yourself. Take a day off. Get some rest. Because no one likes to be around a tired, grouchy person like me sometimes.
And me.
But yeah, I mean, as you just continue the grind, you need to make sure to take care of yourself too.
So happy you're on here. I will touch back on, because I think you do more than just report, and you know this too. Like, you are connecting with people, and this vehicle of sport, yes, it's such a big industry, but you're doing so much bigger than sport. You also talked about what you're seeing. You're literally in it with the players. Like, if, I don't know, one day we hear, oh, Paloma gets to travel with us. Yay! Like, Paloma's like sitting on the bus with us. She's spending that same time with us. And it's, like, when you're talking about that, the other side of it, when we have people travel with us, I can feel that connection. So I can definitely like see the world you're living in right now. I honestly, I don't think I have a question. You've just talked so much about how much sport is bigger and how you've made it so much bigger. If you want to talk a little bit more about it, but I just love how you have this full experience of your life. There's some parts like, okay, the dating thing, that is a real thing, but I just love how you talk about sport being another way to connect with so many people, and it's so much bigger than, like, don't get me wrong, the championships and on the court, you do such a great job of covering that too, but then also the part off the court too.
I think it's important for people to get to see you, get to know you, and the more you do things outside of your sport is so important. Obviously, like, the Aces, they do a lot in the community, or their pregame fits, like, maybe they're wearing a designer that you love, and you're like, oh my gosh, this athlete is wearing a designer that I love. Instant connection. Now I want to watch every single game that she's doing. You know who's really good at that? Angel Reese.
Oh.
Yes. Like, I want to wear everything she's wearing. I wish I could wear like a bikini, but maybe not. But she is like, just like an icon. And I think that's so important as like a collegiate athlete now with NIL and all the opportunity that you guys can do, to go to Sephora and be like, I want to do a deal with you guys, and I want to wear this brand. And it's all about putting your name out there, name, image, and likeness, which you couldn't do before. You know, that was like taboo. But now it's like the gates are wide open. There's a football player here at UNLV, Ricky White. He just played in the Battle for Vegas, which is a charity softball event. So he was a part of that with the Golden Knights and the Raiders. It's like, boom, yes, you want to make those connections with the Raiders and the Golden Knights so that they know who you are. They bring their friends to the games. Now they're doing the coin toss at the football games.
Yep.
It's like, yes, once you start realizing, like, let me go to Aces games, let me go to these games, let me do more outside of my sport so people can see me and get to know me and want to relate and want to come on the podcast and do all that.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a little bit about marketing, networking, getting out of your comfort zone, telling your mom's pushing you out the door, you know? So it's important.
I love that. I think, especially for NIL coming, since it's such a new thing and learning about it, I think even for myself and my personality, I love how you talk about pushing yourself, getting outside your comfort zone, going after what you want. But for me, I feel like sometimes, is this what I want? I kind of question, like, where do I want to go with this? So I don't think I'm ready to, like, go up to Sephora and say, hey, I'm a student athlete and I want to promote your brand with my platform. Yeah. So, but hearing you talk about it, it's kind of like, you know what? No, I have a story that's cool. I can share it and I'm worthy of making connections, making opportunities with other people. And I hope listeners know, like, your story is so unique too, and so you don't have to have the biggest following or the biggest name, but to put yourself out there. And I just wanted to piggyback off of Paloma's message, but that's kind of my what I'm learning as I'm
and you got it, girl. You got the podcast going.
Thanks.
I mean, it's just great. And now you're building connections, and now you're making connections, and it's only going to help you down the road.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've kind of touched on how busy your day can get, just a little bit, but I want to have you have some time to say, okay, take us through a day in the life. I was gonna say like your busiest day, but like it sounds like they're all kind of pretty busy.
You know, we were even just talking about like how football season's so busy. Football season is a walk in the park because I have one game a week, and that's nice to have one game a week. The Aces play every other night. I don't know why they play 4 games. 4 games in 7 days.
A week?
Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA commissioner, needs to chill out just a little bit. 4 games in 7 days is crazy. So actually, my summers are much busier than football season. Basketball season is like 1 or 2 or 3 games a week, which is a little bit easier. But yeah, I mean, the Aces, they really cram in a lot of games into 1 week. And obviously they have the Paris Olympics coming up too. So summertime is really busy here in Vegas. But when is it not? We have the Golden Knights, the Raiders, the Aces, UNLV, and then all the minor leagues too. But there's other professional teams here in town too. So there's a lot going on here in Vegas. But a day-to-day would just be like waking up, working out because I need some me time.
Love that.
Or like maybe I'm waking up at 8 a.m. and I have a million messages of like, we need you here now. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, good morning.
Blow dry my hair and run out the door. So it's and another thing is you think it's glamorous of like me sitting in a makeup chair, getting my hair and makeup done. Absolutely not. I'm running out the door. I'm running out the door because I have so many things to attend to in one day. Whereas, like, if you wanted to be an anchor for, like, the 5 p.m. news, maybe you're going into the studio and getting your hair and doing your hair and makeup or getting it done. But I'm a sports reporter, so I'm going to, like, 10 things in one day. Here in Vegas, you know, so I'm just running out the door. So I talk about Sephora because I've learned I need to learn how to do my makeup, you know.
Yes.
So I do my best to go to Sephora and talk to all the girls that work there, and I'm like, hey, I have like 10 shoots today that I have to get through. Like, teach me how to do my makeup so I can know how to do it and then run out the door. So yeah, and I mean, on the road, I'm getting ready as fast as I can and, you know, heading out the door. So that's been something to get used to, is to learn how to do my hair and makeup as fast as I can and then run out the door. But if there's a big event or if there's something I'm hosting, maybe I'll go get my hair and makeup done. But it's not as glamorous as all these girls
Yeah, I
think.
had no idea. And also,
Yeah.
as a girl who's also trying to get into this like world of working and producing media, like
Yeah.
makeup is something I didn't even think about. Like men don't have to think about this. Like of course they have to get ready, but like makeup is a whole other process of getting ready for us.
Yeah.
And like I love it. Like I didn't wear it a lot when I was younger, but since college, I feel like, it's like kind of cool that I get to like get ready for the day, feel good about myself.
Yeah.
And so hearing you talk about like, okay, this is something I've had to learn and do like with my process, and it's not as glamorous. Like
Yeah.
I think guys maybe think, oh, you're getting your makeup done or it's super fun, but it's like this is my job. I'm getting ready to feel good, but I have a job to do.
Yeah. Do
So,
you wear makeup at your games?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
all of our team, we have a whole routine in our
Okay.
locker room. We all get ready together. Everybody has their spot in the bathroom. Like we're all sharing a mirror, and it's like a whole like game day ritual.
Yeah.
So just like us getting ready, it's a girl thing, but I don't know.
And see, that's the story that I want to do. Of like, these are women. We're
Yes,
girls.
yes.
We get ready for our games and for work, and it's just who we are. So that's what I love about my job, is like showing that side of athletes. It's like they're not. I mean, they're more than athletes, obviously. So it's like getting to know every player's story and your background and your pre-game ritual. It's important.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tell us more. Okay, so let's say like after a long day, you're running from place to place. And also I kind of mentioned earlier like your different labels, your titles, but I think it's so important to also say like, guys, Paloma, like yeah, maybe if she was like a anchor at this time set here, but she's covering a lot. And while I'm not TV show host or all these things, but I kind of feel that same way as a student athlete, and also that I'm engaging in all these other things. Like I feel like, okay, I'm a student athlete from this time, and then after I'm going to a networking event at night, and then I have to plan for my podcast the next day. I'm kind of like running from one thing to the next. And I guess hearing it from your perspective, it's like at first sometimes I get frustrated because it's like, I could, if I really wanted to, just be a student athlete.
Yeah.
And then make it one thing super simple. But I feel like I love doing all these things. It's tiring. But I guess I wanted to ask you, like, how do you compartmentalize, go from thing to thing? Like, how do you keep up with the pace?
It's fun. And like you mentioned, like you want to be active, you want to do more than your sport. I think I care. I care about this city. I care about these people. I care about my job, and that's also, I think you can see that, and you can see people that don't. It's pretty easy to tell. But I think it all comes back to like the passion of like, I work with women who are so hardworking, like the Aces and like here at UNLV. So it's like, why wouldn't I want to go cover all these events today and do a good job? And because there are other women that, I want to help push the door open. And there's a young girl who shadowed me this summer. She went to high school here in Vegas at Bishop Gorman. She plays lacrosse in Charlotte. She's in college. And she was like, I've watched you on Fox 5 and I want to do what you want to do. So it's also like the responsibility that I feel too. Like when I leave the door every morning, it's like, I know that there are other women looking at me or other men looking at me, and it's like I have a responsibility and like to do a good job.
Yeah.
To do a good job. And that's off camera. That's off camera too. I mean, the way I treat people, the way I talk to people, the way I carry myself on the road, here at home, that's important too. And it's so weird because not everyone thinks like that, So like, when I hear someone kind of be rude, or when I hear someone kind of had a bad attitude, and we're at work, like we're in a professional setting, it's like, man, why not be the opposite? Like, why not be the light in the room? Why not be the light of the city? There's so many amazing people in here that I want to shed a light on. And that's kind of the attitude that I wake up with in the morning, is like, why not? Why not be the light today? Yeah.
I love how you speak with so much passion and how you go about doing everything. I just feel, I kind of relate to that. Like I feel, I would describe myself as very passionate, and you can see that, hear that, feel that being with you and seeing what you do. And I kind of just, this isn't a question, but I'm just kind of talking about how seeing that in someone that's in the industry of what I want to be going into. It's like so amazing to see. And it's like, because sometimes I think young girls think like, oh, am I being too loud? Am I being too this or that way? And it's like, no, like seeing you just like, I'm gonna be the light, I'm gonna be this, like that's who you are, that's what you're about, and just completely like embodying it and being it is so empowering to see as like a young woman. And I just wanted to comment on that. So
Yeah, I mean, I think you should be yourself. You should try to make the world a better world every day. I take a lot of yoga. So I don't know if it's my yoga classes and like my yoga teacher being like, be a good person today.
Aw.
I'm very faithful too. I rely, pretty hard on my faith too. And I think it's just important for me to be a good person every day and try and make, my work and the people I work with have a good day. Because we work hard. These are
we do.
long hours, long days. But I also have to keep in perspective, like, this is my dream job too.
That is true.
Even though some days may be like so repetitive and grueling, and we get home at 2 o'clock in the morning and I have to be on air in the morning, like it's grueling. But when my season's over, whenever the season I'm covering is over, because I cover all year. But once it's over, I'm like, man, that was so fun. It was so cool. All the relationships I've made, all the players that go on to play professionally or whatever they do in life, it's just thousands of people that I've met that even if they no longer play sports, that's fine. I mean, I'm going to meet them down the road somewhere in life. And it's just really cool that I get to meet so many people and get to know so many people.
That's so cool to hear. And like, I honestly just sitting here listening to you telling your story is like, I'm so glad that I get to be a part of this.
Me too.
So we've touched on a lot of different things, personal life, sports life, professional life. I also just want to give you a chance. Like, so if I were to Google Paloma Villicana, like there's obviously like news anchor would come up, all these things. But what's something that maybe wouldn't come up but is important to you and who you are?
That's a great question. I'm like thinking of like all the bad things that would pop up. I don't know, like when you Google, like sometimes I do have to like find a headshot of me to send to people, and I will just Google my name. And I'm like, oh my God.
This is what comes up? That's how I feel.
Paloma, I'm like, oh no. But I mean, I think, gosh, I don't know. It's such a weird question. It's so like, that's such a big question because it's like, I hope when people see me or when they watch me, they just know that like, I'm really, really like, I don't know, trying to make their day better. That's such a weird thing to say. But like,
I love that.
I hope when you watch me that like, you're having fun watching me and like, you're having fun getting to learn about this player or this team. And that's why I love the Reb Zone. It's like full access of like, what do I want to do to showcase the city? Obviously, the show is focused on UNLV, but everyone has a story. You're from Michigan. There's new head coaches, there's new players, there's new strength coaches, there's new equipment managers. It's 110 in Las Vegas. How are we performing at peak athleticism in 110 degrees? Like, what goes into that? The science, like that show is just like, it's so fun because I have so much freedom to do what I want with that show. And I sit down with the coaches and we go over their program and we go over the Las Vegas as a whole. So I think if you Google me, I hope it would just be like, wow, like she's trying to make your day better by showing you this amazing program or this amazing person. Or maybe a tragedy that happened, when there was the on-campus shooting. It's like, gosh, how do I do a whole show about what just happened on campus and do it respectfully and inform people what happened? But also, like, you're watching for entertainment as well. So there's a lot of things I think about. But I think when I go on TV, it's just like, I want to make your day better. I want to make your day better. You know, we're all dealing with long, stressful days, all of us, in some way, somehow. No one's life is perfect. No one, even we have Instagram and all that. It's all fake. Yes, those pictures are on your phone, but like we're all dealing with the day-to-day grind of our lives and juggling so much. It's like if you watch me or you watch the story I do, I hope it brings like joy and happiness to you.
Well, Paloma, you have definitely made my day so much better, and I'm having
Oh.
so much fun doing this. As we wrap up here, we've said it over and over, like the grueling days. It's especially in this industry, like my perspective playing in it, but then also yours being on the other side of it, having to cover not just one event, multiple events, being your own production, doing your own makeup, like getting it, like it's not just, oh, I show up and I do it. It's things come before, things come after. It's a full day.
It's a full day.
Many days. So my question for you is, how do you feed your soul? How do you take care of yourself? What makes you feel better after a long day?
Yeah, I think it kind of starts with how I wake up, actually. Like I said, I love yoga. I love to work out. That has been so important to me. Because when you wake up and you jump straight onto your phone, and you jump straight onto your laptop, and then you spend the next 24 hours really doing that, oh, that hurts. It hurts. You know, you have to have some me time. We talk about grace. You know, you're not perfect. It's okay that you're not perfect. You're still going to be the best version of yourself today, or at least try to be. And for me, in my world and in working in sports, it's always like I have to take care of myself first so that I'm in a good mood and that I can help my coworkers and do a good job on this story and kind of get in the right mental space.
Absolutely.
I notice that the days that I don't work out, or the days that I'm literally just working Monday through Friday, like just working, those are some of the toughest days where I'm like kind of maybe in the worst mood. And I'm like, all I've done for the past month is work and not take care of myself.
Yeah.
And that's tough. That's really tough. So it is so important for me to go work out, go outside, leave my phone at home, like don't look at it, and then jump into my day, and then jump into the grind of everything. But I do notice that like when I'm not taking care of myself and I'm just working and going through the motion of everything I need to do, that's like not the best version of myself. So taking care of yourself should be number one. I mean, you should take care of yourself. That way you can be a good person to take care of your friends, to take care of your family, to take care of your work, your job. So making that, going to bed early so that you can work out in the morning. That's like my tip to having having a successful day, is going to bed early and waking up early to work out.
I love that.
That's my tip.
I think that's really cool to hear, especially in this world sometimes, or just working out in general. And I bet sometimes you don't want to wake up and go work out, but it's like, wait, this is going to make me feel better. And I guess for me, coming out of being a D1 athlete for so long, or for 4 years, but being an athlete my whole life, it's like I've had workouts made for me. So working out is like, right now it's the part of the job. But then as I graduate, when I leave this space, it's going to be, okay, this is going to be something I do. I'm going to move my body to feel good. Yeah. I'm going to do that for myself, not just, and right now I love working out. Like I love the weight room time before we practice, but it's like, okay, we have lift and then weights. I try to frame it as best as I can as I get to move my body today. But sometimes it's like, I get to max out every exercise today. Yeah. So I love hearing your perspective. Like, that's what makes me feel good, and I'm gonna do it and stick with it, because that's how I'm gonna show up to be my best.
Exactly.
And I feel like we're kind of similar on this. Like when we do some things like going through the motions, it doesn't feel as good as if we're pouring ourselves into it. And in order to do that, we have to take care of ourselves first so that we can take care of others and be the best version for others. And that's just what resonates for me as you said that.
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, it is different being a college athlete and having to work out than when you graduate and you get into your own routine, you're going to realize how vital it is to stay happy and keep sane. And it's therapeutic for me now, but I'm sure when I was younger and playing all the sports I did, I was just like, oh my God, I can't wait to get out of here. But no, it's what keeps me going.
I really, really love that. Paloma, thank you again so much for your time. And I can't believe like it's summer and I was thinking, oh, it's summer, maybe she'll have more time, and she's telling us it's actually the more busy time of the year. But
Yeah.
thank you. I can't thank you enough for being here. It's been such an honor and pleasure talking to you, having just some quality time with you. But thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.